Hey, have you ever really stopped to think about what gives you the power to influence your own government? It's not some abstract idea, right? It's actually a specific set of tools we call political rights. So today, we're going to break down exactly what they are, why they're so incredibly important, and how they give every single citizen a voice. Let's jump right in.
Now, to really get a feel for the power of these rights, we're not going to start with a dry definition. Nope, we're starting with a story, a truly historic victory that shows you exactly what can happen when people demand to be heard.
So when you think about huge democratic wins in Asia, what pops into your head? Well, there's this one pivotal moment, one that set an unbelievable precedent that a lot of people just don't know about. And it all came down to one single game-changing year.
The year is 1937. And believe me, this wasn't just another year you flip past on the calendar. This was the finish line. It was the end of a long, really tough fight for a right that had been denied to people for generations. So in 1937, the Philippines made history. It became one of the very first nations in all of Asia to grant women the right to vote. And let me tell you, this victory wasn't just handed over. Oh no, it was earned. It was fought for through a long, passionate campaign by groups like the Philippine Women's Suffrage Movement. It was a truly pioneering achievement for the entire region.
And this really brings us to the heart of our discussion today. What was the engine behind that incredible change? I mean, what is this fundamental power that lets ordinary citizens pull off something so monumental? Well, the answer is the very definition of empowering people.
The answer, of course, lies in political rights. This is the official system, the mechanism that turns the voice of the people into actual government action. So let's really dig into what that means.
You know, at their very core, political rights are the freedoms that allow us, yeah, you and me, to actively shape how our country is run. It's the huge difference between just pointing out a problem and having the actual recognized power to help solve it. And this freedom, it really stands on three main pillars. First, you've got the right to vote, to choose our leaders. That's our most direct line of influence. Second, there's the right to be a leader, to run for office yourself, which makes sure that government isn't some kind of exclusive club. And third, you have the right to organize, to team up with other people and political groups and make your collective voice louder. Because let's be honest, a unified voice is a lot harder to ignore.
So these rights aren't just ideas floating around in the air. They're a core pillar of democracy. But you know, for any pillar to be strong, it has to have a rock-solid foundation. So where are these rights actually protected and guaranteed?
Well, in the Philippines, these rights are formally baked into the 1987 Constitution, and by putting them in the nation's highest law, it's sending a clear message. Citizen participation isn't just a nice-to-have, it's an essential, non-negotiable part of the entire system.
You know, I think this one line from the Constitution is just so powerful. It talks about empowering citizens to be an active part of democracy and guardians of justice. It's not just about taking part. It's about taking responsibility. It elevates the role of a citizen to a protector of fairness itself, and that just speaks volumes about what these rights really symbolize.
And that leads us right into our next point. These rights are so much more than just legal words on a page. They are a powerful symbol of where the real authority in a nation truly comes from.
And this isn't just some abstract theory. The nation's own official gazette says the political rights are the ultimate symbol of a true democracy. In other words, the government itself is admitting that its legitimacy comes directly from the people's ability to participate. When you see these rights being used, you're literally watching democracy in action. So, the power of participation, it flows in a really clear path. It all starts with one person expressing their opinion, whether it's through a vote, a protest, or by organizing with others. Then, that single action joins with millions of others to directly shape the government. That's the fundamental link right there, from a citizen's personal choice to the direction of an entire nation. Okay, so we've looked at the history, we've defined it, and we've seen the immense power of political rights. And all of that brings us to our final and maybe most important point, the challenge this power puts in front of each and every one of us. Look, the main thing to take away from all this is that the ability to participate isn't just a right, it is a vital pillar holding up the whole structure of a free and just society. And if people don't actively participate, that pillar starts to weaken.
Which leaves us with this final thought. The power we've been talking about, the right that people fought so hard for back in 1937, the one that's written into law today, well, it rests in your hands. So the real question isn't just what are these rights, it's what are you going to do with them?
How will you use them to shape the world around you?